Good morning, kids. Welcome to what I was originally gonna call Intro to Decimals, but scratch that. Ooh, you're gone. Why? Because we already probably know how to add decimals and maybe subtract decimals. We can work later on multiplying and dividing decimals. But what I want to do today is talk about decimals and fractions and make this impressionistic. There will be some addition of decimals here, but what I really want to do is talk about why this matters. And if we can really viscerally understand how decimals work and how small, let's say, 100th or 1,000th actually is. So this presentation is going to hopefully be a lot of fun. I've got a fun follow-up activity you can do at home. So let's go ahead and get started. This is a decimal board, and as you can see, it's got units, tens, hundreds, and thousands, but it also has tenths, hundredths, thousands, 10,000s, and 100,000s. So this is a classic Montessori decimal board. I also went ahead and borrowed one from lower elementary. Same thing, okay? If you notice the color scheme there, the units are going to be green, tenths, blue, hundredths, red. I'm primarily going to be working in this area here, hundredths, tenths, and units today. So let's talk about what a unit is. And if you don't mind, I am going to use the fraction insets to talk about this as well, because this is decimals and fractions impressionistic. So this is a unit. This is a whole right here. Okay, so 1 unit is the same as 1 whole right there. Sorry, it's so big it takes up everything. And I don't have a hundredth, but I do have a tenth. This is 1/10, and 1/10 of a whole is the same as 0.1 there. So we write that down. 1/10 is the same as 0.1. So let's talk about how this looks if we use some beads here. And this is the fun thing about beads. You can use beads at home. It doesn't always have to be the same colors here. I know that we're in a situation right now where we're trying to make do with the best we can. So what I'd like to say here is that my tenths are going to be blue beads. And if I'm going to do the same thing I just did with the fractions, I'm going to do 10 tenths. I'm going to lay out 10 blue beads here. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, oh, dear Lord, 10. So 10 tenths here on my decimal board is going to be the equivalent of, 1 unit. So if you can see from there, I'm not sure how well you can, oh Lord, we got 10 tenths equal 1 unit there, because if we add them all together, we will get a unit. Let me go ahead and erase my board here. I think this will be better to use than note cards. So if I do, let's do it this way, 0.1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If I wrote it like that, oh my gosh, look at all those decimal points. That's kind of scary. Well, actually, no. I add them up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All I do is bring the decimal point down, and I write my 0, carry the 1 comes all the way down, boom-bitty-boom, there we go. 1 whole. So I love that. Let's talk about, I lost my unit. Oh, there it is. Okay, whew, that was close. So we have our tenths making our units, but now let's get even smaller. And let's talk about hundredths. So hundredths is 0.01 for one of these guys. Oh, don't like when my screen does that. So 0.01, now I'm at 0.02, 0.03, 0.04, 0.05, 0.06, 0.07, 0.08, 0.09, and then once I get up to here, that is going to be equivalent to 1/10. So let me erase my tenths to a unit and show you what that looks like abstractly. 0.01, 0.01, 0.01, 0.01, 0.01, 0.01, 0.01, 7, 0, 1, 0.01, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Got to make sure I have the correct amount here. So there I have all of my hundredths. Each of those represents a bead, and we're going to add them up and see what we get. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I write my 0, carry the 1, bring the 1 down, bring down my decimal point, and lo and behold, 10 1/100ths is the same as 1/10, just like I have it there. Really, really fun and interesting. So let's do a little addition here, and this is something you can do at home. There are ways to get this decimal board online. I'm actually looking for a resource so that I can send you something like this. Let's just do a couple of addition problems here, just to practice a little bit, and I'll show you how I do it using the decimal board. This is very simple. A lot of you kids already have this in abstract, but again, it really helps to use the material to get in touch with what this actually means visually and how small some of these things actually are. And so let's go ahead and do a problem here. What I did is I created like an equal thing here. I created like an equal sign here to show what it is, and I put a plus sign here. So let's go ahead and add, let's do 2/10 plus 1 and 2 1/100ths. All right, so if you look over here on the board, I have 1 unit, 0/10, and 2 1/100ths, and I'm going to add them to 2/10. So let me write that down, what that actually looks like in the abstract. So it's going to look like this: 0.2 plus 1, and we have to put a decimal point because anything on this side of the decimal point here is going to be a decimal. 1.0, I have 2/100ths. Now notice, this is how I first wrote it down. It may help kids to add a 0 at the end of that 2 there. That may help if you think about it that way. 0.20 is the same as 0.2 or 2/10. So let's go ahead and add this. And all we got to do, the first thing I want to do, remember kids, anytime you're adding or subtracting decimals, get that decimal point down. Move it first. Decimal point, a lot of people sometimes get confused and it looks strange and different, but you need to move it down. And that's basically for addition and subtraction of decimals how you do it. It's a little bit different for multiplication and division, but for addition and subtraction, move that bad boy down. And let's go ahead and add. We always start with our smallest place value, which is going to be here in the hundredths. So 0 plus 2 is 2. So it looks like there was nothing here. So I'm going to move these 2 beads below my little equal sign here. So I've got that. And I don't have anything else adding here, so I'm going to move the 2/10 down. I'm going to get 2/10, and there's nothing else with my units, so I'm going to bring my units down, and I indeed get 1.22 or 1 and 22/100ths. So sometimes when you say hundredths, you may spit a little bit, but that's okay. It gets worse. Thousandths, 10,000ths. So 1.22 or 1 and 22/100ths. So that is a very simple one. Let's do a little more complex one. beads are really helpful, kids. Anything you can do to reinforce math concepts with concrete materials, especially 4th, 5th, and 6th graders for you guys, you should. It really helps a lot. So I'm just going to put some random numbers here. My first set here, this is going to be okay. That's my first number, which is 3 units, 4/10, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hundredths. So this in the abstract is 3.46. So that's my first number. And let's do another number. Runaway beads. Kids are much better with beads than adults. I think that's the wonderful thing about Montessori Works is that you can see a kid whipping through a work and like everything is running smoothly, and then I get over there and try to touch it and it crumbles before me because I've got beads and things rolling everywhere. That's just the way it goes for me. I'm all thumbs when it comes to some of this stuff. Kids are really great, and it actually also builds a lot of good fine motor skills for kids, and that's another unintended wonderful consequence. Well, in Montessori's case, probably intended, but the consequence of getting those fine motor skills is another great thing about this kind of work. Oh, I lost one. Runaway bead. Goodbye, bead. I will not see you until after this presentation, and that is too bad. Okay, so my next number that I put down here is how many units? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units. 1, 2, 3, 4/10, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hundredths. So in the abstract, my problem looks like that. So I'm going to go ahead and do this viscerally first with my material. I'm going to push them all together down. So I'm going to put my units all underneath my little equal sign. And like I said, I did both here because I want you to be able to see. This isn't the ideal way to do it over camera, but it is what it is. I remember in my Montessori training, I watched a ton of training videos. And it's just not the same as in person, but you got to make do with what you have. Oh, Lord. It looks like I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 hundredths. That's not good. Well, it is it's fine, but we learned earlier that every 10 hundredths is equivalent to a tenth. So I'm going to have to go ahead and exchange out these 10 hundredth beads for a tenth and put this in the 10th place. So let me take these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Goodbye, boys, and welcome to the 10th. You have become a 10th. You have leveled up. So we now have, instead of a 3 and a 5, ooh, that was not a 3 and a 5. That was a 4 and a 5. It looks like I can't add. So it looks like that was 4.46. No, it was 3.46. Never mind. I was actually correct. I'm just looking at it backwards sometimes gets me. So this is correct. I should trust myself. I should trust the materials. Here we go. So let's add our tenths now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let me count them again just to be sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we can bring these down here. We're not at 10 tenths, which we know is equivalent to, that's right, you said it, 1 unit. We're not quite there. But we bring all those beads down. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 tenths here. And then we go to our units. Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so let's bring them all down here. All right. There you have it. So with the work, I'm seeing 8 units, 9 tenths, and 1 100th. So let's see if that matches my abstract. Decimal point down. It looks like that's what I got abstract as well. 8 units and 91 hundredths. Oh, I don't like it when my screen does that. Okay, looks like 8 units and 91 hundredths, and that looks like what I got here. 8 units, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 tenths, and 1 hundredth. So that is wonderful. I love doing that work. Let's do one more, and we're just going to have some fun, and we'll do thousandths too this time. Why not? And then after this, I'm going to show you a great impressionistic way to understand exactly how small a 100th is compared to a unit, and how small 1/100th in a fraction is compared to a whole. So just teasing that for in a few minutes. Let's do one more addition problem. This is great practice for me as well. Let's build a problem here. Let's see here. I'm gonna get much more. I'm gonna go for it. Don't run away. Oh gosh. Okay. 6 there. We'll add to another 6 here up top. And the really fun thing, kids and parents, is that doing addition like this kind of work, is so much fun. This is way more fun than looking at a piece of paper. I really enjoy this kind of work because it really does reinforce the basics. The basics are so important. If you don't have the foundations, then when you get older, it becomes more difficult. I will comment that I've learned a lot more about math through the Montessori materials. I am not naturally mathematically inclined. However, I do like to play with stuff, just like other kids. All right, so building some numbers here. It's really important to work on carrying over when it comes to addition as well. This is something that still trips up middle school kids and high schoolers as well, and adults. Trips me up. It almost did earlier a minute ago. So that's okay. And the thousandths, if you note, is similar to the units. It's a shade lighter, but I don't have a shade lighter beads here. So I'm just going to go ahead and use the green beads again with the understanding that these green beads will not mess with these green beads because these are full units. These are only thousandths. And once we get to hundredths and thousands, kids, we're getting into really, really small subdivisions of numbers here. And that's why fractions and decimals are pretty much a different way of saying the exact same thing. They both have their advantages and disadvantages. But it is anything less than 1 is a fraction of something, and anything less than 1 with decimals is on that side of the decimal point. So there's my problem that I've created, and let's count my first number here, which I put up top here. So it looks like I have 6 units, then my decimal point. Then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tenths, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hundredths, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 thousandths. Don't be scared of thousandths. It's just one more decimal place over. So that's my first number that I built. My second number is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tenths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hundredths. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 thousandths. So this is the problem that we just built. The first thing I'm going to do, kids, and this is the first thing you should always get in the habit of doing, is bring that decimal point down. Come on down. You're the next contestant on Adding Decimals with Mr. Adam. All right, so you remember when you add, you always start at the lowest place value. And we're going to go ahead and start here with the thousandths. So I'm going to push them all together, put them below. I'm cheating here a little bit. Sorry about that. Hack. So here we go. Let's count the total number of thousandths that I have. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 thousandths. Are we sure about that? Okay. 15 thousandths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That is a lot. We do know from the logic of from earlier that 10 100ths made a tenth and 10 tenths made a whole. So it stands to reason that 10 thousandths will make 1 hundredth. So I'm going to go ahead and select out of here 10 thousandths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I'm going to exchange them for 1 100th. Put that bad boy up there just as if I was carrying over. And now I'm going to add my hundredths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Move these bad boys down. Use my hack here again real quick. All right. Let's organize my hundredths. Oh, again, just not as good as the kids when it comes to this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Let me count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Again, I have more than 10, which means I know that 10 100ths equal a tenth. So if I take out 10 of those red beads, I can exchange them for a blue bead and put that in the tenth section. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Exchange those for a blue tenth. Okay. And let's add my tenths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Let me count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. All right. Move you guys down. All right, so the same logic holds, kids. 10 tenths is going to be equal to 1 unit, just as with the fraction 1/10 is 1/10 of this, and 10 of these together are going to be equal to 1 whole. So I'm going to count 10 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and I'm going to exchange these tenths for a unit, a whole, and then I'm going to push them all down, add them all together. Okay, organize them a little bit. Let's see how many units I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Count again, just in case. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, so using the same logic with the decimal from the Latin 10 system that we have, if I have 10 units or more, if I have more than 10 units, 10 or more, I need to go to the next place value. So I have, I think it was 13, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 units. So I gonna have to collect 10 of them and exchange them for a 10 because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 units is the same as the number 10. And again, this time we're using a blue bead again, but this time the blue bead is not tenths. It is in fact 10. So my answer with the work is, looks like 13 and 645 thousandths, or 13.645. Let's go ahead and do it in the abstract. 13.645. Look what I got when I did the abstract. I did the same thing. I carried over. If you notice those ones there, 8 plus 7 is 15. Carry the 1. 13 plus 1 is 14. Carry the 1. 8 plus 7 is 15. Plus 1 is 16. Carry it over. Notice you leave the decimal point alone. Then you get to 6 plus 6 is 12, plus 1 is 13. So very simple there, kids. That was awesome. I love doing that with the works. But now, let me talk about, well, first let me put these away before I kick beads all over the place. That would be bad. To clean that up, I already got the runaway rogue. Got the rogue bead over there. He's just looking at me. He's all smug. Everything. So, this was our decimal board, and we were talking about adding decimals. And now I want to talk about the fractions here with the whole and the tenth, and a challenge that I have for you, because when we looked at the decimal board, we saw that it took 10 100ths to equal a tenth. Well, my challenge for you is to get some construction paper and some pencils and to try to create a whole, which is 1, a tenth, which is what I did was I traced this fraction piece here, and I'm going to hold this up to show you that I divided it into 10 parts. They're not really good, but I did divide it into 10 parts there, folks. And then I cut one of the tenths out, and that little tiny sliver there is literally 1/100th of this whole, because it takes 10 of these to make a tenth, and it takes 10 of these tenths to make a whole. So this is a great visual way to see just how small a 100th of a whole actually is in fraction form. So what I did was I broke out the construction paper, the glue stick, the scissors, the straight edge, and the pencil to create this. Now, that's how you would show this in the impressionistic fraction form. Well, what can we do for decimals? Well, a great tool and resource for decimals is graph paper, because what I did is I decided that I was going to have a 10 by 10 square here represent 1 unit. That whole thing there is 1 unit, very similar to this one circle. And what I did here was I cut out a strip of 10 of those, and that represents 1/10 of that whole. So that you can tell that that is a lot smaller. And then, if you look closely, you see the little guy. I cut out one little tiny, according to that whole, that is 1/100th of the whole. So look how small that is. 1/100th, 0.01, 1/100th. So this is, I think, a great project that you can do at home to really viscerally see, just see how these work with decimals and with fractions. The fraction thing, you're going to have to eyeball it a little bit. When it came to this one here, making the hundredths, or dividing the tenth into 10 parts, I first divided it into 5 as best I possibly could, and then I divided it, each of those, in half. So that's a little tip that I would follow at home. So here is the fraction follow-up that you can try to make. You don't have to make it look exactly like this, but do your best. I'm going to do my best to get you some materials online. I may scan these and send them to you so you know how big each of these are. Obviously, parents, the kids are going to do a much better job cutting out shapes than I am. They're going to make theirs much more pretty and interesting. They may color stuff in. But that is a great impressionistic way to really learn just how small a 100th is. Imagine, kids, if we were going to talk about just how small a 1,000th is. Not 1,000, but 1,000th. So this has been an impressionistic lesson. I hope you enjoyed it. The Montessori materials really make math come alive, and I really hope that you will do these follow-up activities. I'm going to go ahead and try and get these scanned for you and send you some graph paper too. I'm not assuming that everybody has graph paper at home, but graph paper is a great way to do decimals in a real fun, visceral way. So thank you all for watching this video. Goodbye.